Part 62. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 613. It just so happens that Zhang Zizai has practiced the Nine Heavens Thunder Tribulation world-destroying sword art, as well as the future Star God Sword Manual, which both require long swords to perform. When the god-slaying sword is transformed into a long sword, it can fully demonstrate its power. In addition, what surprised Zhang Zizai was that the god-slaying sword art could also be transformed into a boxing glove, which was quite terrifying, and even had many spikes piercing out. If Zhang Zizai hit it directly with one punch, I'm afraid there would be 5 blood holes on the body. Such a boxing glove with the characteristic of destruction, used to perform the 10,000 June shattering world fist, can obviously enhance a lot of power. The appearance of god-slaying sword art was an unexpected surprise for Zhang Zizai, otherwise he would still be worried about where to find a handy weapon. Xuanhuan Realm. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Destroy Xuanhuan. God-slaying. World-destroying sword art, 10,000 June shattering world fist, life profound art, earth escape divine art. Combined with the previous means, Zhang Zizai is now stronger in all aspects. Compared with when he first came to Tianxing City, he has undergone earth-shaking changes. Of course, the next practice will probably be much more difficult. After all, he chose the most difficult destruction of heavenly source. He was not in a hurry. In the following time, while continuing to hone those battle tactics, body movements, and skills to a proficient level, he occasionally went to Tianxing City alone to take a look. It has been more than a month since he last came to the evolution source. This month has been a tormenting day for the geniuses in Tianxing City. They searched in Tianxing City day and night, completely carpet-style search, not leaving any corner, but what made them feel incredible was that Zhang Zizai was like evaporated from the face of the earth in front of the 3 of them. However, the Tianxing totem array was closed early in the morning, and there was no trace of anyone leaving, which meant that Zhang Zizai must still be in Tianxing City. The teams of the major totem worlds shuttled in Tianxing City day and night, but when they tried so hard for so long and failed to find Zhang Zizai, they only had anger and depression in their eyes. Zhang Zizai took away almost all the treasures of Tianxing Mountain by himself. He was only a divine seal realm, and there were at least hundreds of people stronger than him in Tianxing City. He was able to escape unscathed. The entire Tianxing City had lost all its face. However, for the treasure, no one would give up. These days, the faces of the controllers such as Shen Xinjiao, Ye Tiandao, and Xiao Chen were very bad, and their junior brothers and sisters did not dare to offend them. For example, it is said that many people who spoke in front of Shen Xinjiao were beaten by her. Find them all for me. He must still be in Tianxing City. He must have used some method to hide his body. Tianxing City is so small. Whoever finds him first will get a reward, a big reward. Under Shen Xinjiao's reward, the geniuses of the meteor realm almost turned out every brick to look at it. In fact, the geniuses of other totem worlds are generally the same. Zhang Zizai came out several times and found that the whole city was still on alert, especially the city gate. There were still several controllers guarding it every day, so there was no chance to go out. Now was not the time to fight hard. Although he wanted to go to the ancient demon tomb, he had to endure it for his own safety. After observing for a while, more than 10 days later, they finally felt a little desperate. Even Shen Xinjiao and the others joined the city-wide search, but they were already exhausted. They knew how far they had searched, and there was still no trace under such circumstances. It was very likely that Zhang Zizai had left long ago. Their city-wide search was just a disgrace. Except for the controllers who felt that the Tianxing totem formation could not stop Zhang Zizai, most people had given up long ago. The daily search was just a way to deal with it. There was a controller stationed at the city gate every day. They basically took turns to stay for 1 day every day as if they were on duty. Others had not given up yet and wandered around the huge Tianxing city, looking for Zhang Zizai's traces. Unfortunately, even though Zhang Zizai had come out of the evolution realm and had a more amazing earth escape technique, even though he passed by them, many people turned a blind eye. If we can defeat the people at the city gate, we might have a chance to rush out. Zhang Zizai thought. Every day, there is a 4th level Tianyuan realm guarding. It seems that it is not that easy. He wanted to leave this place a little bit. After all, the well of the divine domain is so big, and it would be a waste of time to waste time here. More than a month has passed since he returned to the evolution realm. He looked at the conditions of Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. They are still in the divine seal realm, but the two have broken through one level again under the nourishment of the divine spirit during this period of time. Ling Xian has reached the 8th level of the divine seal realm, and Shen Xiao has broken through to the 9th level. She has already reached the perfection of the divine seal realm. Next, she is going to impact the Tianyuan realm like Zhang Zizai. As long as you reach the 9th level of the divine seal realm, you can impact the Tianyuan realm at any time, but if you are not well prepared, you need to be prepared for failure. How many levels of the source of the sky did you get? Shen Xiao asked. The 10th level, Zhang Zizai said. You are so boring. You only know how to brag. There are only 9 levels in total. Shen Xiao was too lazy to pay attention to him. She loved competition. When she knew that Zhang Zizai had reached the Tianyuan realm, she also wanted to rush to the Tianyuan realm immediately. Zhang Zizai asked her to prepare for a while, but she refused. What's the name? Destroy Tianyuan. Destruction? I haven't heard of it. But it sounds like a destructive maniac, which suits your personality. Shen Xiao smiled tenderly. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Are you going to take the 1st level of Tianyuan? It's easy to become a god, and it's easy to practice, Zhang Zizai said. No. The 2nd level. I'll take whatever level I can enter, and I will never compromise, Shen Xiao said firmly. Sure enough, he is very similar to Zhang Zizai in this respect. Have you practiced the Shenling Xian Gong I gave you last time? It has a miraculous effect when facing the Shenyan realm. There are some clues, and it should be able to be used a little. Shen Xiao saw that Zhang Zizai was still very concerned about the convenience of her practice, especially the Shattered God Seal and Tongtian Source, which are very risky. Don't worry, I have the guidance of the Ancestor Dragon Soul. Seeing Zhang Zizai's concern, she felt warm in her heart. Don't die in the source of the sky, so as to avoid the trouble of collecting your body, Zhang Zizai smiled. You're such a scoundrel, Shen Xiao cursed in a delicate voice. Let's get started. I'll protect you. When she was trying to break through in the wooden house, Zhang Zizai stood guard at the door. Time passed by bit by bit. The process of reaching the source of heaven was very quiet, but it also made people extremely nervous. Half an hour later, when he heard the huge movement inside and her panting, Zhang Zizai knew that she had returned from the source of heaven. She didn't drown in it, and most of the risks had passed. The remaining life skills could be dealt with. The next step was to comprehend the source of heaven and sort out the recovery period, mainly to stabilize the realm of the source of heaven. Zhang Zizai stood at the door and didn't disturb her. Finally, on the 5th day, the door creaked open, and a goddess-like girl walked out. She was radiant, her face was majestic and beautiful, she had a lofty temperament, spotless, and had a rare emperor's domineering. Every move surpassed many women who claimed to be geniuses that Zhang Zizai had seen in the well of the divine domain. Which level, what is the heavenly source? Zhang Zizai asked with concern. The 7th level, named Furnace Heavenly Source, happens to be similar to my most recent totem. Furnace is an endless flame. Not easy, to reach the 7th level, Zhang Zizai exclaimed. The ancestral dragon soul helped, she said. What kind of existence is your ancestral dragon soul? which can help with this. The ancestors of the Tianlong Holy Dynasty are so heaven-defying. Zhang Zizai couldn't figure it out. It has nothing to do with you, don't ask too much. Shen Xiao looked at him with fiery eyes and said, our realms are finally equal, do you want to compete? Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 614. Zhang Zizai was too lazy to spar with her, mainly because she liked to cheat. She lost the last bet and didn't fulfill her promise. It's more interesting to fight side by side. Let's go and see how Lingxian is doing. If she is about the same, we will almost leave Tianxing City, Zhang Zizai said. We are only at the first level of Tianyuan realm. Do you want to deal with a group of Tianyuan realm 4th level? And thousands of geniuses from various totem worlds, Shen Xiao said in surprise. Men are so bold, Zhang Zizai said. I think your brain is full of fat intestines. Although Shen Xiao complained, she still followed Zhang Zizai forward. He said he wanted to fight. With her current realm, she was naturally enthusiastic and wanted to abuse those people in Tianxing City. Although the gap is not a little bit, after reaching the Tianyuan realm, she can only barely be regarded as having some self-protection power. Lingxian has reached the 8th level of Shenayan realm. Given time, she may also reach the Tianyuan realm. But her strength has surpassed the Divine Seal realm. Her methods are actually very scary. Even if she is not at that level, she can still help. Zhang Zizai also summoned the lightning bird. He told Shen Xiao and Lingxian about the current situation of Tianxing City and said, there may be only one Tianyuan realm level 4 near the city gate. The 3 of us plus the lightning bird have a certain chance. What if we fail? If we fail, we will come back and continue to practice until we can get out, Zhang Zizai said. It will be fine after a while. When Yana reaches the Tianyuan realm, we will be older, Shen Xiao said. I can't wait any longer. I got a clue on the Starry Sky Monument. I want to go there earlier. Zhang Zizai told them about the ancient demon tomb now. You are telling me about this kind of thing now, Shen Xiao was speechless. You don't serve me, why should I tell you this good news, Zhang Zizai said. How are you going to serve me? Shen Xiao bit his red lips lightly. Of course, it will be gentler. Shameless. Lingxian was thinking about Zhang Zizai's description. Is it possible that the Starry Sky Monument is not the only guide? Maybe someone else will find that place, because you didn't get it by chance, but got it from the Starry Sky Monument, and the Starry Sky Monument was arranged by the ancient gods, she said. It's possible, Zhang Zizai said. Then we should leave here earlier and set off for the ancient demon tomb. Such strict screening and instructions show that the treasures there are much more precious than Tianxing Mountain. Maybe it can give people the key to becoming a god, Shen Xiao said seriously. She didn't think it was urgent at first, but after hearing the name of the ancient demon tomb and Zhang Zizai's description, she couldn't wait. The 3 of them, plus the lightning bird, were ready for battle. This time, they found that there were fewer people patrolling. It seems that they basically acquiesced that it would never be possible to find Zhang Zizai again. Zhang Zizai easily avoided them. If we besiege the 4th level of Tianyuan realm, can you help? Zhang Zizai asked Lingxian. Yes, she nodded gently. Her words were enough. Zhang Zizai led the 2 beauties to shuttle freely, and in the blink of an eye they had arrived near the city gate. He looked over there and saw that Yetiandeo and his junior brothers and sisters were stationed at the city gate today. There were a total of more than a dozen people, led by Yetiandeo, guarding the city gate, but most of them were practicing by the way, just occasionally observing the movements outside. Zhang Zizai quietly entered the tower. Yetiandeo and his men were on the city wall, and outside the city wall was the Tianxing Totem formation. Yetiankong was also here, as were Feng Qingyu, Zhao Zikong, and Wu Sheng from Fengxing realm. It seemed that after Yu Lingxin died, they temporarily followed Yetiandeo. They can't escape, they must be inside, and maybe they are still looking for a chance to get out. Everyone cheer up, Ye Tiandao said coldly. Brother Ye, I have a question, Zhao Zikong said. You say. If they show up, and only we find them, do we need to notify others? Although we have already agreed, but do you think that he has more treasures to himself? It is even possible that someone has already found them, but they just killed them to get the treasures. So they haven't shown up yet, right? Ye Tiandao said in a deep voice. Zhao Zikong nodded and said, but I would rather believe that they are not dead. This Zhang Zizai is cunning and may be looking for a way to leave Tianxing City. It is even possible that he is around us. You are right. After listening to their conversation, Zhang Zizai played with the lightning bird in his hand and walked out of the tower. Behind him were two girls with completely different styles and temperaments, but each with their own charm, which attracted people's attention. They stood up instantly and looked at Zhang Zizai with fiery eyes, especially Ye Tiandao and Ye Tiankong. It's time to avenge her. It has been delayed for a while. Ye Tiandao's eyes were cold. He asked everyone to stay where they were. One person came up in a blink and looked down at Zhang Zizai. Are you here to die today? Ye Tiandao asked. Zhang Zizai shook his head. But, after you show up, you will never be able to survive, Ye Tiandao said with a stern look. Do you think I can't stop you if I dare to show up? Zhang Zizai smiled. Another talisman? You can only flee, and you still dream of attacking. Ye Tiandao smiled coldly. It seems that you are going to attack together, then I will not be polite and start a massacre. Your barbaric world really only knows how to reproduce, but there are many living people. Finally waited for this moment. The time for revenge has come. Let's go together, Ye Tiandao said contemptuously. He knew the strength of this group of people. In his opinion, Zhang Zizai was already at the end of the road with them. He didn't expect that they really went together. 3 dragon totems, plus a real source beast lightning bird. I remember 2 months ago, when I first saw Zhang Zizai with them, I didn't notice that this group of unknown people had such luck. You dare to deal with me just after entering the Tianyuan realm. Your courage is really touching. Ye Tiandao opened his arms, and a pile of huge wings appeared behind him. When the wings flapped, the world changed for a while, and the majestic storm began to sweep, and suddenly formed a huge air vortex, completely trapping them in it. His totem is a universe-level totem, called the Storm Vortex Divine Peng Totem. Now he created this huge totem vortex just to tear Zhang Zizai apart. He was not afraid of making such a big noise, because he knew that he only needed 10 breaths to deal with Zhang Zizai, and it would take at least 30 breaths for the nearest person to come. Ye Tiandao has already used all his strength. Wind Demon Sword Finger. In order to quickly take down Zhang Zizai, Ye Tiandao directly used the battle tactics he got from the Wind Star Monument, and the lethality exploded for a while. However, what he greeted were 3 people who were extremely eager to fight, plus an irritable lightning bird. Buzz. The bombardment of Tianyuan realm began from this moment. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 615. Unlike the last time he dealt with Lin Feng, this was a real confrontation between Zhang Zizai and a strong man at the level of a saint servant. Ye Tiandao and Lin Feng were both U-level totems, so they were even stronger than ordinary saint servant. After all, the resources accumulated on them were endless. In Tianxing City, Ye Tiandao and Lin Feng were still rivals. Lin Feng might not be able to defeat Ye Tiandao now, because after he got the Wind Star Monument, his strength had increased dramatically, and it was said that he was almost the number 1 in Tianxing City. Now that the Wind Demon Sword Finger was used, the power was really amazing, and each finger could shoot a fierce green color sword energy. His hand speed was so fast that in the blink of an eye, his Wind Demon Sword Finger was everywhere in the storm vortex, as if the world was under his control. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The devilish sword energy was flying around, and with the storm vortex's reverse chaos, Zhang Zizai and the other two seemed to be in danger. After all, they had no chance to attack for the time being, and yet Tiandao suppressed them forcefully. Today, I will use your blood to commemorate the soul of Sister Yu. Yet Tiandao narrowed his eyes, with only contempt and murderous intent in his eyes. Zhang Zizai and his men wanted to leave here, but yet Tiandao and his men wanted to kill them and take the treasures from them. For example, Shen Xiao and Ling Xian were completely useless and would only die faster. The next moment, Ye Tiandao was greeted by the explosion of 4 opponents. The first was the lightning bird, which was itself a very strong 9th grade source beast. When it was chirping, it sprayed countless lightning balls. Those lightning balls expanded rapidly in the air, condensed hundreds of times in a blink of an eye, and rushed into the storm vortex. The ferocious storm vortex did not tear it apart. Even if it was torn apart, the lightning melted into the storm vortex and spread towards Ye Tiandao. Ling Xuan's whereabouts were strange and unpredictable. Sometimes even Zhang Zizai didn't know where she was. In comparison, Shen Xiao was much more violent. She was already a strong person in the Tianyuan realm. At this time, she summoned the Holy Dragon armor again. The Holy Dragon armor surrounded her tightly, but still retained the curves of a woman. In fact, she was still as attractive as before. It was just a little too hard. But, Zhang Zizai, who showed his full strength at this time, was even harder than her. In the raging storm vortex, a man with black thunder wrapped around his body and thick black dragon scales appeared here. He had sharp bone spurs on his body, and he looked like a fighting machine. Beside him, there were hundreds of clones, all exactly the same, and it was impossible to tell which one was real and which one was fake. The manifestation of the 2 totems of the demon shadow had been used. But the most shocking thing is the black lightning wrapped around him, and the god-killing sword in his hand. The flames on the black sword are burning. Combined with Zhang Zizai at this moment, he is like a demon from hell. After possessing the source of destruction, he has a new will. This will supports his aura, making him feel numb. It seems that if you look at him, everything in the world, the universe and the galaxy will be destroyed by him, and all life will die in his hands. Zhang Zizai can also feel that there is a power belonging to the source of destruction in the world. It seems to be everywhere, as if it is everything in the world, but it is not all of this. He may not know what this feeling is, as if this source of destruction makes him stand on the opposite side of the whole world, making everything in the world afraid of himself. It is said that the battle of the source of destruction itself is an experience. Some people even break through in the battle, which is an experience, and comprehend the source of the sky to a deeper level. Before he started, Zhang Zizai would be thinking about what he wanted to destroy. If you want to break through, you must understand destruction. His understanding of the source of destruction is not much different from that of others. Ye Tiandao's killing intent has already expanded. Shen Xiao took the lead and went up to fight with his wind demon sword. Ling Xian and Lightning Bird also took action. Zhang Zizai appeared behind Ye Tiandao in the encirclement without saying a word. The demonic energy in his hand was soaring to the sky, and he was even more murderous. 9-day Thunder Tribulation World Destroying Sword Art. This is a sword art that is very suitable for Zhang Zizai's source of destruction. Although it is a bit exaggerated to say that the world is destroyed, the will of his sword moves really has the will of destruction, but it is accomplished by summoning the 9-day Thunder Tribulation. Shen Xiao has the 7 Flame Fire God Spear and the Fire Gathering God Eye, and Ling Xian has the weird and unpredictable Moon Dance. Their attacks have restrained Ye Tiandao. Coupled with the desperate harassment of Lightning Bird, Ye Tiandao has only the 4th level of the Tianyuan realm, but within a short period of time, he has no chance to defeat his opponents one by one. Crackling. Above the sky, surging lightning struck down like an explosion, condensing on Zhang Zizai's god of killing. For a moment, there were billions of electric snakes twisting, waiting to engulf Zhang Zizai. Zhang Zizai descended from the sky and struck the nine heavens thunder tribulation world-destroying sword technique behind Yetiandeo one after another. Each sword tore out a huge black thunder, which condensed into a huge thunder sword energy in the explosion and pierced the back of Yetiandeo's head. Yetiandeo seemed to have eyes behind him. He stretched out his hand and pointed backwards, and suddenly countless wind demon sword energies burst out and impacted Zhang Zizai's thunder sword energy. Thousands of wind demon sword energies shattered Zhang Zizai's thunder sword energy. But this is nothing at all, because right after Zhang Zizai's world-destroying swordsmanship exploded out one after another, each one was stronger than the last. This power from the source of destruction is very special, and it seems to have the power to disintegrate and shatter any force. Now, in fact, his power in Tianyuan is not as good as Yetiandeo, but he broke Yetiandeo's wind demon sword finger into pieces. When Zhang Zizai attacked, Yetiandeo was still facing the attacks of the other three, especially Shen Xiao. After she had the boost of the Holy Dragon armor, her combat power was infinitely close to Zhang Zizai, and the power of her furnace Tianyuan was very hot. And at this time she has a brand new totem, the Lianji Furnace Flame Dragon Totem. It was the fusion of two evolutionary sources, an incredible change. After the two evolutionary sources became one, the two furnaces merged into one. This was a domain-type totem power. When Yetiandeo's storm vortex raged, the god Xiao's Lianji furnace overlapped directly. The so-called furnace is for forging weapons. The furnace that can melt steel is a symbol of the hottest place in the world. There are two kinds of flames in the Lianji furnace. When mixed together, the burning power produced is double that. A flame furnace and the storm vortex overlapped, and Yetiandeo became the only person burned. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 616. Boom boom boom. Shen Xiao used the seven flame divine spear and killed 7 people in and out. She was so fierce that Yetiandeo had to focus on her, but Zhang Zizai behind him immediately brought a new threat. It's really annoying, a few guys who won't cry until they see the coffin. Yetiandeo only sneered in his heart. However, when the pressure from Zhang Zizai behind him suddenly increased, he was no longer in the mood to mock. For some reason, Zhang Zizai suddenly appeared at his feet, flying in the air. Wanjun Shattering Fist. The god of killing suddenly changed into a boxing glove in Zhang Zizai's hand. He used the earth escape magic to appear at Yetiandeo's feet invisibly, and then rushed up, hitting Yetiandeo directly with the 8-step soul-chasing lightning. In the past, he used the 8-step soul-chasing lightning to catch up with the opponent, and then used the 9 heavens tribulation thunder claw. When he hit Yetiandeo at this time, he used the 10,000 June shattering fist. Bang! Being so close, the power of a punch shook the world. The gloves of the god killer gave the Wanjun shattering world fist a terrifying increase in lethality. When Yetiandeo was being entangled by the other three, a sudden punch under his feet was beyond his expectation. Boom! Even if he was prepared, Zhang Zizai still broke countless wind demon sword fingers with one punch. Wanjun shattering world fist plus destruction heaven source is a force that Yetiandeo should not underestimate no matter how strong he is. This punch directly broke the balance. Blood burst out of Yetiandeo's right leg, and the power of destruction heaven source wrapped around his body, and it lasted for a long time. Yetiandeo's face changed instantly. The next moment, Shen Xiao, Lingxian, and Lightning Bird all found an opportunity, and the storm-like attacks poured on him. Zhang Zizai was not idle either. The god killer kept switching between the sword and the gloves. Even if he was hit by the wind demon sword energy, he would use the life spirit mysterious art to recover immediately. There were too many wind demon sword energy, and as long as he was not stabbed into a hornet's nest, there was no problem at all. At the same time, he also used the earth escape magic to change his position. Most of the time, under the cover of his clone, Yetiendeo didn't know where he was. Yetiendeo was very passive and fell into a dangerous situation in an instant, and at this time Zhang Zizai suddenly appeared. Eternal God Fist. He grasped the timing very well. The burst of the Eternal God Fist was integrated into the Wanjun Shattering World Fist in this short moment. With one punch, he broke Yetiendeo's countless Wind Demon sword fingers. Bang! Yetiendeo sprayed blood and flew back. He was completely defeated this time. In this process, Shen Xiao and the other three added a lot of attacks, especially Shen Xiao. The Holy Emperor Dragon Spear directly pierced through Yetiendeo's thigh. Remember, all this is your own death. I didn't expect that at this time, Yetiendeo could still say such a cruel word. This situation can only mean that he definitely has a trick. Facts prove that it is true. In the next moment, he saw him take out a snow-white color fruit from the space jade pendant. When the fruit appeared, it seemed that the whole world was shrouded in a rich fragrance. This is his way to save his life. Stop him. Otherwise, there will be trouble. Shen Xiao immediately realized the problem. Just as she said it, a figure suddenly hit him, knocking the snow-white fruit away. Yetiendeo wanted to say something, but Zhang Zizai punched him in the chest. He was blown away and hit the barrier of the Tianxing Totem formation. With a snap, his bones were probably broken. He couldn't get up anymore, and fell to the ground, dying. And the white fruit fell directly into Zhang Zizai's hands. Yetiendeo wanted to turn the tables with this fruit, but it was impossible. Judging from the fragrance, this fruit is not an ordinary thing. However, Yetiendeo's men, including Ye Tienkong, Feng Qingyu, Zhao Zikong and others, all looked at Yetiendeo with shock. Brother Tiendeo, was he defeated by them? How is this possible? Brother Tiendeo is at the 4th level of Tianyuan realm. They trembled all over. Everything that happened was beyond Ye Tienkong's imagination. Brothers Shenyuan fruit. Under Zhang Zizai's strong attack, he didn't even have time to take the Shenyuan fruit. Yet Tienkong couldn't imagine that this was the omnipotent brother in his mind. Now, he was covered in blood and fell to the ground. Zhang Zizai even went up and took away Yetiendeo's space jade pendant. 4 Shenyuan fruits, all gone. Yet Tienkong wanted to cry but had no tears. Moreover, Zhang Zizai took away not only Shenyuan fruits, but also many other treasures. Go, Ye Tienkong shouted at the people next to him, but at this moment, no one dared to step forward. They could only watch Zhang Zizai and them go towards the city gate. It seemed that they wanted to defeat Yetiendeo and leave Tianxing city. Follow me to kill them. They have treasures on them. We can't let them escape from Tianxing city. Ye Tienkong's voice was shrill. He must have shouted loudly on purpose. When Yetiendeo made a mistake and failed to capture Zhang Zizai alone and obtained all the treasures, Ye Tienkong chose to inform others. At this time, Zhang Zizai was already standing in the city gate. The city gate also had a shield of the Tianxing Totem formation, but it was a little weaker. After all, it was still convenient to enter and exit occasionally. That's the divine spiritual medicine, the Shenyuan fruit, which is a wonder of heaven and earth. After taking it, it can be integrated into the power of the source of heaven, temporarily enhancing the power of the source of heaven, and almost raising the realm of our level by 1 level. When Shen Xiao asked what the snow-white fruit Zhang Zizai had just obtained was, Zhang Zizai responded. Divine spiritual medicine, it must be the 11th spiritual medicine. That's right. There are 2 more grades above the 10th grade spiritual medicine. The 11th grade spiritual medicine belongs to the legendary divine spiritual medicine, and the highest grade of the 12th grade in the world is the holy spiritual medicine. In the origin continent, the number of divine spiritual medicines will not exceed 50, and the holy spiritual medicine is only in legend and has not been born long ago. Unexpectedly, Yetiendeo actually had 4 divine spiritual medicines like the Shenyuan fruit on his body. Fortunately, he was not allowed to take it, otherwise he would not be able to beat him. After getting Yetiandao's space jade pendant, Zhang Zizai and others rushed to the city gate without saying a word. Let's attack together and see if we can break through the gate. This is the only place where they can leave Tianxing City. The three of them plus a source beast attacked at the same time. Zhang Zizai directly hit the gate with the Wanjun shattering fist. Shen Xiao and Ling Xian also attacked at the same time. Boom! Although there was a loud noise, the gate did not move. How could it be like this? Zhang Zizai was a little depressed. This Tianxing totem formation was too stable. After defeating Yetiandao, he had already tried his best, but he still failed. This verified one of their guesses. It seems impossible to open the gate of Tianxing City by brute force. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 617. They tried several times but failed. You don't have to waste your time. To open the city gate, you can only defeat the controllers at the same time. As long as most of them cannot control the Tianxing totem formation at the same time, the city gate may be loosened, a woman said behind him. When Zhang Zizai turned around, he found that the person who told him this method was Feng Qingyu. Her senior sister died because of them. Don't you hate me? Zhang Zizai asked. Others are coming soon. You can continue to hide. If you can hide for a year or two, you may be able to leave. You can defeat Yetiandao together, but there are too many strong people here who are comparable to him. Feng Qingyu did not answer his question, but said nervously. From her words, she did not resent Zhang Zizai and the others. It's not that she and Yu Lingzin have a bad relationship, but she feels that Zhang Zizai and the others are right from beginning to end. Let's go. This time, they finally found a way to leave Tianxing City, which can be regarded as a gain. It was futile to stay here. Now it seemed that it was not the time to force their way in. Now that there was such a big commotion, it was time to leave quickly. They gathered together and left quickly. Want to leave? After all, their battle made a lot of noise. Just when they were about to leave, someone came here immediately. They locked onto Zhang Zizai at a glance and intercepted them directly in front of them. Zhang Zizai saw that there were a total of 4 people. They should have moved first after noticing the movement, so the junior brothers and sisters in their respective totem worlds did not catch up for the time being. The people who came were Jin Xuanhuan and Simita from Han Tianjia, and the Liun brothers from Lianjia, Lei Sheng, and Lei Mi. Simita was in the second level of Tianyuan realm and did not pose a threat, but each of the other 3 was about the same as Yetiandao. Just now, the 3 of them joined forces to cross the 3 realms and defeat Yetiandao. Now 4 people appeared to intercept their way, causing great trouble. The key is that as long as they entangle a little, the remaining thousands of people in Tianxing City will probably gather here in a short time. This time, without the Shenshan soul calming talisman, it will be more troublesome to escape. Don't run. Jin Xuanhuan was so excited that he almost jumped up when he saw them. Brother Xuanhuan, catch them, Smita screamed. The Liun brothers over there didn't need to say anything, they turned into 2 thunderbolts and shot towards Zhang Zizai. They just intercepted Zhang Zizai on the way of his escape and perfectly intercepted them. For a while, Zhang Zizai was in an absolutely dangerous situation. Damn it, I've been looking for you 3 bastards for so long, and finally you showed up. Without the dry level talisman today, I think you can't fly away. If I don't beat you up today, I won't be called Jin Xuanhuan. He rushed over like a giant beast, with golden light all over his body. He had locked Zhang Zizai, obviously wanting to get ahead of the Liun brothers. Brother Xuanhuan is so handsome, Simita twisted her waist and jumped up in the distance. Boom! Jin Xuanhuan punched without saying a word, and the air vibrated for a while. Zhang Zizai hurriedly dodged, but was still shocked and flew out. The super geniuses of the 4th level of Tianyuan realm are indeed too fierce. Maybe Jin Xuanhuan can't beat Yetiandao, but it also requires Zhang Zizai to join forces with them to deal with him. In addition, the Liun brothers have been entangled on the left and right, and they are coming violently. They are stepping on purple lightning and flying thousands of miles. Their faces are cold and high. Brother Jin, let Zhang Zizai give me, you deal with the other two, Lei Sheng said. Don't talk nonsense, we will each take one, hurry up, and then leave Tianxing City. We will share all the benefits. If we argue and wait for others to arrive, there will be no chance, Jin Xuanhuan said. The Liun brothers looked at each other. Very good. Because there are two of them, and Jin Xuanhuan is only one. If the three of them get all the treasures and escape from Tianxing City, the two brothers can kill him and take them all. In this case, don't bother with Jin Xuanhuan about who will deal with Zhang Zizai. The best strategy is for the three of them to quickly take down the other three. The two looked at each other. Solve it as soon as possible, do your best, and it's best to capture and take it away, Lei Sheng said. Do it. They saw that Zhang Zizai had already defeated Yetiandao together, but it didn't matter, because Yetiandao alone was no match for the three of them. We have another condition, Lei Sheng glanced at Shen Xiao. You say, Jin Xuanhuan said. This pair of sisters will belong to us brothers after the matter is done, Lei Sheng said. Haha, no problem, Jin Xuanhuan knew what they meant. A pair of sisters and a pair of brothers, what an interesting picture. After discussing it, the three of them instantly locked their opponents, Jin Xuanhuan against Zhang Zizai, Lei Sheng against Shen Xiao, Lei Mi against Ling Xian, and of course, Lightning Bird now stayed beside Ling Xian. The Liun brothers were interested in them and wanted to kidnap them. Quick battle, quick decision. In the blink of an eye, they attacked Zhang Zizai and the other three with a crushing attitude. The situation made Zhang Zizai make a judgment in an instant. He took out 3 Shenyuan fruits and threw one to Shen Xiao and Ling Xian respectively. Originally, he wanted to use them in a more suitable place later, but now it seems that he can't be careless in this situation and must leave quickly. The divine origin fruit should help them do it. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Zhang Zizai swallowed the divine origin fruit directly, and a warm current really entered his body, and then immediately merged into the destruction heavenly source. When this warm current entered the destruction heavenly source, the destruction heavenly source absorbed a huge force and became extremely huge in an instant. From the level of power, it has doubled. Zhang Zizai's heavenly source power has finally reached the standard equivalent to the second level of the heavenly source realm. His destruction heavenly source power is very domineering, absolutely exceeding Yetiandao's heavenly source. Now when facing Jin Xuanhuan, he holds the god of killing in his hand, and his murderous aura soars to the sky. After the whole person becomes stronger, the lethality is even more terrible. Humph! Jin Xuanhuan roared, and his body changed dramatically. In the blink of an eye, he became a golden tiger standing upright. His body was very huge and majestic, and his whole body was like gold. It was somewhat similar to the transformation of the panda's Wanjunjinshan panda totem. They were both extremely powerful and hard, especially the pair of claws, which looked like 10 swords. His totem was called the Sacred Gold Tai Chi Tiger Totem. After transforming into a holy gold body, Jin Xuanhuan roared and killed him. His every move was indeed powerful. Zhang Zizai's eyes flashed with a cold light. After the Shenyuan fruit amplified him, he was also full of confidence. He swept the god-killing sword in his hand, and the 10,000-foot thunder sword energy tore through the air and quickly wrapped around Jin Xuanhuan. Zhang Zizai's attack was too fast. Before Jin Xuanhuan could block it, the world-destroying sword art had cut a deep sword mark on his chest. Roar! Jin Xuanhuan was extremely furious and roared wildly. Just when he was angry again, Zhang Zizai's world-destroying sword art and Wanjun-shattering fist had already swallowed him up. During the time when he used the Shenyuan fruit, Zhang Zizai became much stronger. 30 breaths later. Bang! The golden humanoid tiger, with sword marks crisscrossing on its body, fell to the ground fiercely. I was a bit confused some time ago because the confinement nanny left, and I took care of the baby by myself, so my schedule was a bit chaotic, but the good news is that today the madman finally hired an ant to take care of the baby, and it will have nothing to do with me in the future. Haha, I will devote all my energy to writing next. I'm going to get mad. I'm really sorry that I delayed writing a little because of family affairs. I will return the chapters I owe within a week, and I will try to get into the rhythm of the previous explosive updates in the future. Today there are 3 chapters, and I will return 4 chapters soon, so don't be impatient. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 618. Not long after the war started, Zhang Zizai was completely different after using the Xuanhuan fruit, and he directly defeated Jin Xuanhuan of Han Tianjia. When she saw the golden Tai Chi tiger fall to the ground, Han Tianjia's beauty Smecta's face turned green. She opened her mouth and looked at all this in disbelief, and then burst into tears. Brother Xuanhuan, how can you be defeated? She was distraught. Boom! Jin Xuanhuan jumped up instantly. His body of holy gold was rough and thick-skinned. Even though there were sword marks all over his body, it had not hurt his roots yet. If his body of holy gold was not broken, he would not be defeated. Jin Xuanhuan was completely enraged. After being violent, he charged towards Zhang Zizai again. Wherever he went, everything was annihilated and shattered by his power like a giant beast. But no matter how many times he gets up, Zhang Zizai's god-killing sword will only tear more scars on his body. When many scars are piled up, they can almost damage the position close to the internal organs. Jin Xuanhuan roared angrily, baring his teeth and claws, but he was destined to be defeated in front of Zhang Zizai. This crushing scene left Ye Tian, Smecta and others stunned. Zhao Zikong, Wu Sheng, and others looked even more miserable. They remembered how they had ridiculed Zhang Zizai when they first met. Who knew he was so strong? Boom! Jin Xuanhuan fell to the ground again. At this time, Zhang Zizai's god-killing sword technique pierced his lower abdomen directly. It was obvious that he was seriously injured this time. It was obvious that his body had completely collapsed. The holy gold body finally collapsed, and the entire people fell in pools of blood. No, Jin Xuanhuan howled miserably, making an earth-shattering sound. It was very noisy. But Zhang Zizai had no time to pay attention to him. Because Jin Zhonghuan has already delayed him too much time. After Shen Xiao used the Xuanhuan fruit, there was no problem in holding on in Lei Sheng's hand. However, Lingxian and Lightning Bird combined were no match for Lei Mi. After all, she was only at the 8th level of the Divine Seal realm. With the Totem God, the power of Seal is a bit far behind the 4th level of Tianyuan realm. Zhang Zizai has been paying attention to the situation there. Basically, both Lingxian and Lightning Bird were crushed by Lei Mi's thunder. The whole process is full of phenomena. The moonlight dance that Lingxian got from the Moon Star Monument is a 2-in-1 battle technique that combines body skills and combat skills. Attack and movement are integrated. It is precisely because of this that she blocked it with psychedelic illusions several times. Lei Mi's fatal attack. Her clone has been destroyed by Lei Mi. Her clone can basically have more than half of the fighting power of the original body, but it can't last long under the absolute crushing of the realm. There's no need to resist. The divine origin fruit can't save you. Just surrender and capture you. I think you're pretty good. Follow me back to the Thundercloud realm. I'll give you glory and wealth. Lei Mi's lips curled up slightly, revealing a trace of evil smile. Lingxian didn't pay attention to him at all. She only focused on resisting the opponent's attack. Her cold attitude existed from the beginning. Lei Mi had said a lot, but she didn't respond at all, only bloody and indifferent words. The look in her eyes let Lei Mi know her attitude. So, you really don't want this life anymore. Lei Mi suffered such indifference, and murderous intent began to grow in his heart. Even so, Lingxian would not talk to him, so Lei Mi increased the intensity of his attack. Under his control, thousands of thunders struck the sky. He held a sharp hammer with the power to shatter mountains. When it fell, even the walls of Tianxing City were collapsing. Despicable. Lei Mi watched Lingxian dodge embarrassingly in front of his attack. When he was hit, the blood-colored dragon scales all over his body were cracking. He couldn't help but sneer. "Are you talking about me?" Lingxian looked at him with blood-red eyes, murderous intent suddenly surging in them. "It's not despicable to be punished with a toast." Lei Mi raised the hammer and charged suddenly. "Now, I'm going to break your scales and see what beautiful scenery is inside." Lingxuan's eyes became even colder. Boom! Thousands of thunders condensed on the hammer, and the thunder surged violently. He held the shining hammer and blasted down, reaching the top of Lingxuan's head in the blink of an eye. It could be seen that he seemed to be angry and angry. There was absolutely no mercy this time. To put Lingxian to death. In an instant, she was in danger. It is indeed ruthless to destroy flowers with a ruthless hand. Lightning Bird was completely restrained by Lei Mi's lightning. At this moment, just when Lei Mi was about to kill Lingxian, a person suddenly came out from the side, and his whole body was covered with black lightning, which instantly struck Lei Mi's body. Wanjun world-shattering fist. Zhang Zizai came too suddenly, and when the eight-step soul-chasing lightning hit Lei Mi with this sudden and brutal attack, he punched him directly in the ribs. Lei Mi's attention was completely focused on Lingxian. He never expected that Zhang Zizai could kill Jin Xuanhuan so quickly, so from the beginning to the end, he didn't react and was directly hit by Zhang Zizai in the ribs. One punch. The violent and destructive Tianyuan power instantly penetrated and rushed into his body. This rib happened to correspond to the position of the heart. Poof! The 5 spikes on the glove penetrated directly. The length of the spikes could be changed. The moment the spikes were about to pierce into Lei Mi's body, they directly became 1 foot long and passed directly from Lei Mi's left chest, penetrating to the right chest. Poof! The power of destroying the source of heaven instantly annihilated its internal organs. Zhang Zizai was indeed very angry. When he saw that this person was actually going to kill Lingxian, he almost didn't think about it. Whoever wanted his friend's life, he would give it all back to him. Life and death are only a matter of seconds. Lei Mi's hammer fell to the ground with a bang. He turned his head and looked at Zhang Zizai dully. His eyes saw Jin Xuanhuan falling in the distance. He trembled all over, and then looked down and saw the wound on his body. "This is impossible," Lei Mi said miserably. "This is retribution." "Nothing is impossible." Zhang Zizai pulled out his hand. He was weak all over and could only stagger. Finally, he fell in front of Zhang Zizai and Lingxian with difficulty. He still stared at the two with wide eyes, and then lost his breath in disbelief. Zhang Zizai did kill him. At that time, he had to use all his strength to act. He had no choice, otherwise it might be Lingxian who died at that time. Lingxian had seen Lei Mi die in battle. This feeling of being saved made her a little dazed. She could see that Zhang Zizai cared about her very much, otherwise, he would not have acted so roughly. "Are you okay?" he looked at her. "You can use the mysterious art of life to recover." "It's okay." Her injuries were not serious and she would recover soon. "We have to leave quickly." Jin Xuanhuan was defeated, Lei Mi died, and the remaining Lei Sheng was nothing, but the others would obviously arrive soon, so Zhang Zizai had to deal with the hysterical Lei Sheng directly and let Shen Xiao escape. In order to leave safely, We are destined to fight to the death, right? Lingxian suddenly asked. Of course. Then I'll try this method. She suddenly walked to the side of Lei Mi's body. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 619. In a very short time, Lei Mi's body dried up completely, as if the essence of blood and flesh in it had dissipated completely. This scene shocked Zhang Zizai. From this scene, Ling Xian seemed to be a vampire. When the blood and qi merged into her body, she seemed to be able to refine it. Invisibly, Zhang Zizai felt that she was getting stronger. What kind of ability is this? Zhang Zizai's face was full of surprise. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. An evil ability. Ling Xian's face was full of blood and qi, and she said lightly. At this time, she did have an evil and bloody feeling. What is it specifically? It's called refining blood into qi. It can refine the blood, flesh, qi, and blood of a person who has just died, and turn it into my strength to increase my cultivation, Ling Xian said. Permanent increase in sex. Zhang Zizai was stunned. Is there such a terrible method in the world? Ling Xian nodded. Does this mean that you can become stronger by refining blood and transforming qi, without practicing? That's not the case. You can use it in times of crisis, right? I don't like to use it. If I use it too much, I will lose my mind and become a bloodthirsty person, she said a little worriedly. It seems that you need to restrain yourself, but it does have a good effect when used occasionally. Does it work on source beasts? He asked. Source beasts are more effective, but they have a greater impact on the mind. It seems that this is a double-edged sword. If you indulge in this way of becoming stronger, you may become a devil. How can there be such a magical method in the world? Is it a battle tactic or a skill? Zhang Zizai watched her aura increase. A fourth level of Tianyuan realm is estimated to increase her a lot. Neither, it's a bit like the totem magic of source beasts. You are not a source beast, how can you have totem magic? I don't know, it suddenly appeared. Zhang Zizai understood, it seems that there are some strange things in Lingxuan's blood. I think there are no evil abilities in the world, only evil people. Any ability you have, as long as you use it well, is a good magical power. You are so kind, so you don't need to have any psychological burden. Zhang Zizai could see that she was somewhat repulsive to such power. Really? Do you think so? Ling Xian asked. Of course, Zhang Zizai smiled. As long as you think it's good, then there's no problem, thank you. Maybe she didn't dare to use it before, and she was worried that Zhang Zizai would hate her because of it. When she heard Zhang Zizai say this, many knots in her heart were opened. You are a person who is not bound by the secular world, and you have much higher insights than others, she said softly. Don't brag about me, I will be proud. Zhang Zizai watched her refining blood into qi with his own eyes. At that time, he was very envious of such a skill. He had a hunch that with such a skill, Lingxuan's future achievements would probably not be lower than his. And remember that she also used a similar skill last time, but that was a realization, similar to the weeping blood hell of the blood prison talisman. After a brief exchange, Zhang Zizai rushed directly to Shen Xiao, and combined with Shen Xiao to defeat Lei Heng, who was defeated on the spot. The power of the Shen Yuan fruit is about to disappear, let's leave quickly. Zhang Zizai took the two of them and left quickly in the surprised eyes of the people around them. If they don't leave now, they may never leave again. After all, there is only one Shen Yuan fruit left. People like Ye Tiankong and Simita dare not intercept Zhang Zizai at all. They can only look livid and struggle in their eyes. They want to intercept but don't have the courage. They can only shout everywhere, asking the strong men patrolling the entire Tianxing city to come quickly. Want to leave? Just when Zhang Zizai and his friends got up, a voice came from behind again. This was a low female voice. This voice was very recognizable, and you can tell who it is at once. Meteor Realm, Shenzhenjiao. She rushed like a meteor, faster than the Liun brothers. Zhang Zizai looked back and even saw other people in the distance. Sure enough, more people came quickly. If Shenzhenjiao gets entangled, it will be impossible to leave. When life and death are at stake, he made a decision and could only sacrifice the lightning bird. He asked the lightning bird to turn back directly, creating a huge thunder network for a while, and then spraying countless lightning balls, not only to entangle Shenzhenjiao, but also to bomb the surrounding buildings. For a while, dust filled the sky. After all, Shenzhenjiao was some distance away from Zhang Zizai, and the suicidal attack of the lightning bird did stop Shenzhenjiao in a short time. It only needs to block for a while and make Shenzhenjiao lose sight. The next moment, Zhang Zizai and the others went directly into the alley. Zhang Zizai, Tianxing City is so big, do you plan to stay here for the rest of your life? Shenzhenjiao's voice came from behind, but Zhang Zizai ignored him. The lightning bird must not have much time to stop, and now he and Shen Xiao must quickly get out of their sight. They kept changing in Tianxing City and finally arrived at a quiet place. It seemed that Shenzhenjiao was intercepted by the lightning bird and should not have caught up. At present, the beast taming talisman has not returned, which means that the lightning bird has not sacrificed yet and is probably still entangled with them. Open the door to the evolution world first, and go in directly when the beast taming talisman comes back. This is what Zhang Zizai planned. The beast taming talisman is now dominated by him. When the source beast dies in battle, the beast taming talisman will return to his side. It takes a quarter of an hour to open the evolution gate. This quarter of an hour seemed very long. The key thing that Zhang Zizai was surprised about was that the lightning bird had not died so far, and judging from the blood connection of the beast controlling talisman, it seemed to have escaped from control and survived. It didn't die. Zhang Zizai was a little surprised. He quickly asked the lightning bird to return. After a while, he saw that the lightning bird was covered with scars and blood, but it was indeed alive. It seemed that in the anger of Shenzhenjiao, it relied on its petite body to escape after Zhang Zizai and them escaped. Awesome. Zhang Zizai touched its head and continued to open the gate of evolution. At present, the gate of evolution is almost formed. It is estimated that he will be able to leave this time in a short time. At this moment, Zhang Zizai suddenly felt that danger was approaching. They have been hiding very well. This time it is a hidden place. Normally, no one comes here. He used to go to the evolution realm here. Who can find this place so quickly, and the purpose is so obvious? The gate of evolution was only halfway opened, and this was something that could not be leaked. The other party had already broken in. Zhang Zizai had no choice. He could not move when the gate of evolution was opened, but the newcomer was very strong, and Shen Xiao and Ling Xian obviously could not deal with him alone. After all, the effect of the Shen Yuan fruit had worn off. In this rush, Zhang Zizai could only temporarily close the gate of evolution to avoid more trouble after being seen by others. Outside, Shenzhenjiao walked in with a sneer. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 620. Zhang Zizai took a look and saw that there was no one else catching up this time except Shenzhenyu. It seemed that she had the same idea as Yetiandao. She also wanted to take everything for herself. She looked at Zhang Zizai and the others, shook her head and said with a smile, "Your performance today was really good. I almost let you escape, but it's a pity that you met me. If there is only one divine Yuan fruit left, don't even think about dealing with me. I and Yetiandao is different." "How did you find this place?" Zhang Zizai asked. "It's simple. If you put a star guide on your origin beast, it can bring me here. Otherwise, how can this 9th grade origin beast survive in my hands?" Shenzhenyu smiled. I see. Zhang Zizai didn't expect this. He observed the lightning bird and found no such thing as a star guide. It seemed that this was their method of tracking in the meteor world. So, You want to eat us alone now? Shen Xiao asked. Why not? Sharing it with other people is a distressing thing, Shen Xingyu said with a smile. Shen Xiao wished she was like this, because what they were most worried about was being besieged. Dealing with Shen Xingyu now was not the same as dealing with Yetiandao before, and there was no Shen Yuan fruit at that time. Now Zhang Zizai had only one divine energy fruit left in his hand. Zhang Zizai and the others looked at each other. I'll take care of her, wait for me. You guys need to nurse her back to health first. In the previous battle, they did have some injuries, and they were not in full condition yet. On your own, you underestimate me too much. It seems that you are comparing me with useless people like Yetiandao. It's distressing. Don't you know that I have always been the only supreme in Star City? Shen Xingyu shook his head and smiled. Then, when she was distressed, she made a move. In the blink of an eye, she took out something huge from the space jade pendant. At first I thought it was a person, but after a closer look I realized it wasn't. It was a puppet made of steel, obviously made of top-notch spiritual mineral materials. Its body is the same as a real person, with bright starlight all over its body. It holds a giant sword in its hand, and its blade is also shining with stars. Zhang Ziyi has seen the power of totem puppets on the Wuxian battlefield, but those totem puppets and the star puppet in front of him, there is no comparison at all. The totem patterns on its body are dozens of times more complicated, and its strength is obviously much stronger. Click. The eyes of the star puppet sparkled, and a cold murderous intention spread instantly. Shen Xingyu touched the arm of the star puppet and said, "This is a self-defense thing that my father gave me. No one else in Tianxing City has seen it, but, how scary it is, I'll tell you secretly, I can't beat it myself, haha." The star puppet held the giant sword and had already locked onto Zhang Zizai and the three of them. Those shining totem patterns were really making people's scalp numb. If this is a totem puppet that even Shen Xingyu himself can't defeat, then their current situation will only be more troublesome. It seems that in the well of God's domain, I cannot measure my opponents based on their personal strength. Most of them will have trump cards, such as the divine origin fruit, such as this star puppet. Yetiandao did not use the Shen Yuan fruit today, otherwise they would have been defeated by now, and everything on them would have been robbed. 6 major talismans including the source talisman. Shen Xingyu and Xing Chen puppet acted at the same time. Your brain is also very precious. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I will only take you back to the meteor realm and let my father search your brain and restore all the battle tactics. As for you, just being an idiot who doesn't understand anything is fun, right? She wanted to use soul searching to deal with Zhang Zizai. It seemed that after soul searching, she would become an idiot. As for you too, you are quite handsome. Please serve me from now on, Shen Xingyu smiled. Don't be disgusted, you don't even have that stuff, Shen Xiao sneered. I don't need to, I can make you fly into the sky. You are much more powerful than your man. Shen Xingyu looked at her and said. The crisis caused by the star puppet is indeed troublesome. This star puppet may not be as powerful as she brags about. Don't let her scare you. Use the Shen Yuan fruit to deal with her. The puppet will be defeated by itself. She wants to take everything for herself. Let's entangle this puppet, Shen Xiao said softly. Said in Zhang Zizai's ear. That's all. If he can defeat Shen Xingyu like he defeated Jin Xuanhuan, there is still hope. As soon as she finished speaking, Shen Xingyu had already taken action. She accelerated suddenly and had a purple-black sword in her hand. This sword had a very fierce shape, the blade was extremely sharp, and it was relatively slender. The totem lines on it were, what came was a scalp-numbing itch. This sword is a famous magic weapon in the meteor world, named, Star Demon Sword. Possessing lethality beyond its own level. Shen Xingyu is already at the 4th level of Tianyuan realm at the age of 17. She still has 3 years left in the well of God's realm, so she has a bright future. Her universe-level totem is called, Divine Light Star Totem. The totem is the star itself. Between her eyebrows, you can see a shining star hanging on it, which is very dazzling. Not counting the star puppet, just based on feelings, Zhang Zizai clearly felt that she was stronger than Yetiandeo. When she came up to kill Zhang Zizai, he couldn't hesitate. He swallowed the last Xuanhuan fruit. When his power increased sharply, he could only solve it quickly because Shen Xiao and Ling Xian intercepted the star puppet for him absolutely. It's very dangerous. This is the most dangerous time today. The battle is about to begin. Shen Xiao and Ling Xian did welcome the star puppet over. Zhang Zizai quickly transformed all his clones. He had to know their situation clearly. Since he brought them out, he had to protect them. This is a man's fundamental principle. The well of the divine domain is indeed a cruel place. The competition and fighting here are more intense than Zhang Zizai could imagine. Almost everyone will not show mercy to the enemy. For example, Shen Xinjiao at this moment, almost all her moves are killing moves. Even if she doesn't want to kill Zhang Zizai, she is likely to kill by mistake. As for the star puppet, it's even more needless to say. The divine Yuan fruit is not your power. With this kind of external power, you can only fight against the waste Jin Xuanhuan. Shen Xinjiao laughed sarcastically, and suppressed it while speaking. Divine light. At this moment, she directly showed the power of her totem. At this moment, her body burst out with bright and strong light like stars. This light was so blazing that it instantly engulfed everything even in the daytime. The dazzling light made it impossible for Zhang Zizai to open his eyes. This light hurt even when it pierced his body. Under the divine light, Shen Xinjiao completely lost her figure. Zhang Zizai also had a hard time seeing Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. This evolutionary world almost blocked vision. Shen Xinjiao was indeed ridiculously strong. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 621. Facing such a strong enemy, even the effect of the Shen Yuan fruit has a feeling of countless uses. You underestimate my star puppet too much. It is really stronger than me. If you let them deal with it, they will not survive more than 10 breaths. In the divine light, Shen Xinjiao's contemptuous laughter came. Zhang Zizai locked her position. He held the god of killing, his body was covered with black dragon scales, and the dragon demon transformation and dragon soul clone were all in one. Earth escaped divine art. Even if he couldn't see it, he could kill Shen Xinjiao in an instant. The god of killing is combined with the other two battle tactics, and with the increase of the Shen Yuan fruit, Zhang Zizai's combat power is actually very strong. The most unpredictable power comes from the destruction of heavenly source. Zhang Zizai often feels that he is at a disadvantage in terms of realm. In a real duel, the destruction of heavenly source has a destructive effect on the enemy's heavenly source power. It seems that even with Shen Xinjiao's talent, Zhang Zizai's heavenly source power can suppress the opponent even if it is only 1/5 of the opponent's. In the divine light, Zhang Zizai closed his eyes and trembled with Shen Xinjiao. Both of them were very fierce, and their body movements and fighting tactics were very top-notch. You are really good. Last time I saw you, you were in the divine seal realm, and now you are in the heavenly source realm. You can compete with me with just the divine Yuan fruit. What secret do you have? Shen Xinjiao was actually very shocked. When she knew that Zhang Zizai and they had joined forces to defeat Yetiandeo, she was already unbelievable. What responded to him was Zhang Zizai's world-destroying swordsmanship. Star-splitting swordsmanship. Shen Xinjiao's star demon sword has a shattering effect, with the power to tear everything and cut everything. Her star-splitting heavenly source is also like this, so she practiced a star-splitting swordsmanship. Every time she killed with a knife, the sword aura alone could tear the earth apart and split the house neatly in half. Her body movement is called Endless Star Trace, which can flicker and change like the stars in the sky. This body movement is comparable to the Earth escape magic, but it is slightly worse in speed, but more erratic. Ding, ding, ding. The two were in a fierce fight and it was hard to tell who was the winner. The swords and knives intersected, and the shadows of fists were heavy. Shenzhenjiao was indeed stronger than Yetiandao. Her star-splitting sword technique was a huge threat. Zhang Zizai did not dare to resist with his body, because he would be cut in half at any time. The evolution source like Shen Guang had a huge restriction on him. Apart from the Shen Yuan fruit, you are almost as powerful as the third level of Tian Yuan realm, but your realm is definitely not that high. You may reach the third level of Tian Yuan realm in a month. You must have other treasures on you. It seems that I will get the advantage today. Shenzhen Jiao smiled easily. You can't take me down. Zhang Zizai rose up again, and gradually gained the upper hand in the confrontation between the god-slaying sword and the star demon sword. But your two little beauties are in danger. Shenzhen Jiao sneered again. She deliberately restrained some of the divine light so that Zhang Zizai could see the situation over there clearly. The star puppet actually had the ability to create a totem formation. Now, a series of materialized starlights extended from its body. Those starlights entangled Shen Xiao and Ling Xian like ropes. The two were completely trapped and unable to move. The star puppet held a giant sword and placed it on Shen Xiao's neck, indicating to Zhang Zizai that it could behead Shen Xiao at any time. In such a short time, they were completely defeated and completely controlled. Shenzhen Jiao really didn't scare them. This star puppet was stronger than her. It was given to her by her father to save her life. What do you think? Do you want to surrender directly, hand over the evolution source first, and then hand over the battle tactics, or force me to win? Shenzhen Jiao smiled. Do I have a choice? The hostages were already in her hands, and the situation was very difficult now. You can choose, but it depends on my mood. If you continue to fight me, if I am in a bad mood and lose interest in you, people will probably lose their heads over there, Shenzhen Jiao said. But, she has comprehended the 7 flame fire god spear and fire gathering god eye. You are reluctant to kill her, right? People in your meteor realm will be very interested in the fire gathering god eye and moon dance, including my star god sword manual. Zhang Zizai said. The sun, the moon, and the stars are all very compatible with the people of the meteor realm. She gave priority to the starry sky star monument. Zhang Zizai judged that she might not kill people based on her greed. That makes sense, but even if I don't kill them, can't I torture them? Shenzhen Jiao laughed. In her laughter, the giant sword in the hands of the star puppet became smaller and turned into a spike. Under her command, it directly pierced Cheng Xiao's thigh. Ugh! Shen Xiao cried out in pain, her face flushed. She gritted her teeth and stared at Zhang Zizai, saying, "Why are you still standing there? If she doesn't kill me, you can stab her to death. You're really fierce. I like you." Shenzhen Jiao applauded. Do it. Zhang Zizai had no other choice. Now the other party was still looking down on her. Shen Xiao and Ling Xian had been controlled. His only chance was to take advantage of this contempt. If he could defeat Shenzhen Jiao quickly, everything would be solved. Huh! He suddenly moved forward and disappeared in the blink of an eye. The god of slaughter in his hand suddenly appeared in front of Shenzhen Jiao and cut off her head. Haha, I don't believe that I can't deal with you. Shenzhen Jiao actually wanted to compete. She always thought that her talent was the absolute first in Tianxing City. She actually looked down on Yetiandao and the others. At this time, when such a Zhang Zizai appeared, she would rather defeat him by herself to have a sense of accomplishment. Anyway, her star puppet had mastered everything. Puff! The star puppet over there started to draw a blood mark on Ling Xuan's face according to her wishes. It was just the blood mark on Ling Xuan's face. The blood would not fall off. She was even more cold and silent, shouting like a god in the sky. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Zhang Zizai, if you are a man, kill her, Shen Xiao was angry. The feeling of being controlled and tortured like this was too uncomfortable. She was very unhappy with Shen Xingjiao now. This situation is indeed infuriating. I brought them out and I should protect them. Now that they are being tortured and I can't do anything about it, how can I face them? He was also extremely angry. During the battle, he did suppress Shen Xingyu, but at the critical moment, the other party would let the star puppet stab Shen Xiao and Ling Xian with their swords, distracting Zhang Zizai. It can be said to be very despicable. I just like this, what can you do to me? Shen Xingyu was actually equally angry in her heart. She was a little temperless after being suppressed by Zhang Zizai, but it was hard for her to admit that this person could still fight against her. So she simply consumed it. She knew that Zhang Zizai's divine Yuan fruit would not last long. Once the divine Yuan fruit expired, it would be like chopping melons and vegetables. The fiery battle continues to roar, with sword moves and sword skills clashing fiercely. Meeting an opponent and killing him can really bring out Zhang Zizai's limit. Destroy. He began to get familiar with the so-called destruction in the battle. He sensed something. In the heaven and earth, there are all elements, which can be understood as the source of all heaven, and every element is a kind of heaven source. But there is only no destruction. But at this time, he felt that the back and reverse of all elements seemed to be the same. It was a dark corner, a broken and disappearing power. This law is destruction. All existence can be said to be creation, and all existence belongs to destruction, so the entire world seems to be broken, including the reincarnation of cause and effect. Suddenly, I felt a blissful feeling in my soul. Incredibly, one realization caused his Tianyuan of destruction to transform quietly. Formal notation. From now on, it will be updated daily, unless there is any accident, before 18:00 p.m. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 622. Zhang Zizai once saw such a sentence. The promotion of Tianyuan realm is sometimes 10 or 100 times more difficult than that of Shenayan realm. Many people are even stuck in one realm for their entire lives and cannot make any progress. Remember the domain name of this site, Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. For example, the Dragon Guardian and the Holy Spirit Servant are not young, and they may not be able to advance to a higher level in the next 10 years of their lives. However, sometimes it is easy to get up, but it seems very easy, and even sleeping and dreaming may lead to breakthroughs. The reason for this is that the core of Tianyuan realm cultivation lies in understanding and perception, and in comprehension. This is the integration of thoughts, ideas, and thoughts. When all the comprehension is sublimated at a certain moment, even in battle, the realm will naturally transform. This is the situation of Zhang Zizai now. When he was in battle, he used the power of heavenly source to trigger the power of destruction between heaven and earth, and thus had a deep understanding of the power of destruction. The source of destruction naturally grew, and he actually broke through to the second level of heavenly source realm at this moment of battle. Every breakthrough in the heavenly source realm will be accompanied by the coming of the heavenly source tribulation, but it may not be at the time of the breakthrough, but basically within 5 days. The later the cultivation, the faster the heavenly source tribulation comes. From the first to the second level of the heavenly source realm, it is the slowest to come to the heavenly source realm. It is said that when it comes to the 9th level of the heavenly source realm, the heavenly source realm comes instantly. The source of destruction has already expanded under the nourishment of the divine Yuan fruit. This time it expanded again. The black petals and the black dragon continued to grow. Every time the lines on the petals vibrated, the power of heavenly source was born. Destruction is the opposite of creation. Creation has countless levels and factors, which divide countless heavenly sources, while destruction has only one. He was able to have such a deep understanding in such a short time, which was the reason why he was able to break through to the second level of the heavenly source realm in battle. However, is this understanding correct and profound? Has he gone astray? There is no way to know now. Many people have realized and broken through in the Tianyuan realm, but after practicing, they found that their understanding was wrong, and it was too late. The current enlightenment is not necessarily the truth. Zhang Zizai knew that there would be such a problem. However, if you don't even trust your own thoughts, and you can't even be sure of your own ideas, let alone go further. Therefore, it is also very important to believe in yourself and stick to your heart. In the blink of an eye, he thought a lot, and when his mood changed, his strength experienced an unprecedented surge. The effect of the Shenyuan fruit is still there. His Tianyuan power in the second level of Tianyuan realm is almost equivalent to the third level, and there is only one level difference from Shenzhenjiao, but his destructive Tianyuan power can crush the opponent. At this time, Zhang Zizai still couldn't see that his realm had broken through, and he could only feel that he suddenly became very scary. Black dragon scales, bone spurs, black killing gods, black lightning, flames, storms, frost, etc. entangled around him, and a pair of eyes were cold and bone-chilling. Why are you being so mysterious? You think you are so handsome. Take a good look at what happens when you become your woman. Shenzhen Jiao rolled her eyes and ordered the star puppet to torture Shen Xiao and Ling Xian again. Even if they had the mysterious art of life to heal such skin injuries, they couldn't stand it after so many times. As for Shenzhen Jiao herself, she continued to use the endless star tracking body method and appeared in front of Zhang Zizai again. The star demon knife tore through the air, condensed a huge aura, and chopped towards Zhang Zizai. Zhang Zizai saw that Shen Xiao and Ling Xian were controlled, and they had blood holes on their bodies, which was all his responsibility. Seeing these two girls gritting their teeth and holding back a word, as a man, he really couldn't stand it at this time. This was not just a matter of losing face, but Zhang Zizai really felt sorry for them. Even if Shenzhen Jiao was also a woman, it would not stop Zhang Zizai's killing intent. Boom! His power of destruction exploded strongly, and just as Shenzhen Jiao rushed over, his body suddenly disappeared and crashed into Shenzhen Jiao's eyes. Are you very powerful? Zhang Zizai sneered, and the god of killing had already killed him. It's okay, a little better than you, a waste who can't protect a woman. Shenzhen Jiao sneered. Are you sure? I already think highly of you. 2 months ago, you were just an ant that I could easily crush to death in my eyes. Shenzhen Jiao sneered. It's different now. While speaking, Zhang Zizai slashed down with a sword, and the 9 heavens thunder tribulation world-destroying sword art burst out in his hands one after another, 9 consecutive swords. Each sword had a sword power against the sky, and each sword was stronger than the last. The surging black thunder burst out crazily, and each move was much stronger than before. The key was that the core of these sword moves was the power of destroying the source of heaven, and they were born with the attribute of destruction. In this confrontation between absolute power and top-level fighting tactics, they were crushed for the first time. 9 consecutive swords, each of which suppressed her star-splitting sword technique. At the third sword, Shenzhen Jiao's star demon sword was knocked away. At that moment, her face turned into the color of pig liver. How did you become stronger? You. Shenzhen Jiao panicked and lost her color. When her face changed drastically, she hurriedly summoned the star puppet to resist Zhang Zizai's sword moves, and she fled in a panic and fell to the ground. Her body was covered with sword marks, and she was in pain. The key was that the shock in her heart was even more terrible. She was almost pale and stared at Zhang Zizai in a daze. Zhang Zizai didn't care about anything else, and all the following world-destroying swordsmanship was chopped on the body of the star puppet. The thunder of the previous few swords had already knocked away its giant sword, but it could only leave sword marks on the body of the star puppet. "You can't break my star puppet," Shen Xinjiao smiled. The next moment, Zhang Zizai's god of killing directly cut off the head of the star puppet. The star puppet instantly jammed and broke into countless fragments, falling like rain and hitting Shen Xinjiao. At that moment, Shen Xinjiao's whole body spasmed. She trembled and climbed up, looking at Zhang Zizai with unbelievable eyes, her chin trembling, and she couldn't say a word. Now the only thought was to turn around and run. She knew how much of a threat the person who could kill the star puppet was to her. Impossible. He was still in the God Seal realm before, he definitely didn't have such power. I am 4 or 5 levels higher than him. Her heart was in a mess. "Can you get away?" Zhang Zizai's ghostly voice instantly appeared behind her. Shen Xinjiao turned back in horror. The moment she turned back, she saw a fist hit her lower abdomen instantly. The spikes on the boxing gloves penetrated directly. She was hanging on it like a chicken, dying. Shen Xinjiao was completely defeated. Her eyes were broken, and she looked at Zhang Zizai tremblingly, saying miserably, "This is not true, how could you?"